Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Mary Charlotte Grayson, Director of Events for the National Indian Gaming Association. Thank you so much for joining us today for our exciting and informative webcast series, Tribal Gaming and the New Normal, with your co-hosts Victor Rocha and Jason Giles. Today's discussion will focus on gaming and hospitality during the holidays. But before we introduce the presenters, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items to keep in mind. All audience members are on listen-only mode, which means you are muted. We will be monitoring audience engagement on the dashboard and do encourage you to participate by using the question panel. There will be time for questions at the end of the presentation. We are recording this webinar and you will receive an email copy of the recording so that you may listen and refer back to it any time. This webinar, as well as others in our series, will also be made available on our website, IndianGamingTradeShow.com, under the Education tab in the coming week. Now, without further delay, let me introduce Victor, Conference Chairman with the National Indian Gaming Association and editor of Pechanga.net, and Jason Giles, our Executive Director. Go ahead, Victor.
Thank you, Mary Shelley. Good afternoon. I apologize, everyone. I was on my phone. Good afternoon. My name is Victor Rocha. I'm the Conference Chairman of the National Indian Gaming Association. My co-host is Jason Giles, the Executive Director of the National Gaming Association, and this is our weekly webcast called The New Normal, and welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Michael. I see you're in there. Just a real quick note. Hey, Mary Charlotte, I sent you a message for John James, and he's still trying to get into. Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize. We're still trying to get this together. I guess it's the little the holiday funk or whatever that is, or the 2020 funk. You know what I mean? It's a little funk on top of the other funk. It's just when we thought 2020 couldn't get any more funkier. So here we are, right? Good afternoon, everyone. Jason, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, good. Just hanging in there.
Yeah, yeah. Michael, welcome. This is your first time on our webcast. This is number 24, so we've been doing this for a little while now. Welcome, my friend.
Pleasure to be part of it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, and Sheila, our dear friend Sheila is the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association. How are you doing in Oklahoma, Sheila?
Good, hanging in there. Good to see everybody.
Good. By the way, I didn't give Michael a proper introduction. Michael is the head of Meczka Marketing Research, and if anybody who knows anyone in the industry, if you don't know Michael and you're in this industry, welcome. You obviously must be very brand new. So Michael is just an amazing person and very honest.
The old guy who's been doing it a long time.
I was going to say of a young man who just got into the industry that we look at as a prodigy. So he just looks older. He's actually 24. This is what you should have seen him before the pandemic. So you guys, this is you know, the reason we were having this show is, you know, this is a very unusual season. And, you know, Michael, and it started with the conversation that we were having about this holiday season and how the casinos are going to market or how they're not marketing. And, you know, what are you seeing out there, Michael? What do you say? How has this pandemic affected the holiday season? Now we're talking lockdowns. We're talking, you know, in California, there's curfews. I believe there's roving bands of zombies in Nevada. So it's just really one thing after another, man. You know, what are you seeing, my friend?
I see a strong need for escapism and recreation. And I see it being fulfilled across the board, particularly in California. If you happen to be at a card club, I just went past Hollywood Park yesterday. They have tents out there and people gambling in tents. You look at what happens at the various casinos in Northern California and their participation, and the fact that now the casinos have understood that they need not be worried about all those peripherally expensive items. So for casinos, it's a profitable time, a very profitable time. And for patrons, the patrons are getting what they want, the opportunity to gamble. So it seems to be a win-win-win at this point.
Yeah, is that your experience that you're seeing in Oklahoma, Sheila?
Yeah, Mike's right. Michael's right. It is a really good time right now. Our facilities are all open. You know, their diminished capacities are at 50% or below, but we're really lucky in the fact that the vast majority of our casinos are local, and for a lot of places, especially in Oklahoma, that's the only game in town. I mean, it's a place where people go on date nights to the restaurants and to the bars for a little escapism, as Michael put it. So everybody is doing really well. These last few weeks of new spikes has changed the dynamic a little bit for a season when we should be packed and making a lot of money. The governor here mandated an 11 o'clock closing for all bars and restaurants statewide.
AM, PM.
PM.
You don't know. You don't know. You don't know
Right?
at this point.
No,
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sheila, do tribes have to comply with what the governor says?
Yeah, they all hold they hold state liquor licenses. So yeah, and everybody's complying. So that's a good thing. It's just, at a time when people want to look forward to New Year's Eve and dropping the ball, dropping the glitter ball and enjoying time with family and friends. That's just not as possible as it has been in the past.
John, to Sheila's point, and actually to Michael's point even too, escapism is a great word. Sanctuary is even another word that I've used before, that it's really, the casinos do provide this environment and this world of dissonance and alternate realities and alternate truths. And you go to the casino and there's this, usually on the holidays, like after Thanksgiving, and John and I have known each other probably like 20 years. The family's standing around their favorite slot machine, and grandma is there, pulling the handle, and the whole family's cheering them on, and it's a really family thing. And when you first see it, you're like, well, okay, but after you see it again and again and again, you go, really, this is how people get together, and this is the modern way of sitting around the old-timey radio with the family and enjoy family time. But what are you seeing, John, as someone who's been on the ground for a long time? Excuse my language. I mean, you're not that old, but
that's like you're
a veteran. You're a veteran of the industry. Let's say that you're a veteran of the industry.
Thank you. But at Tiny Radio here, what we did is we took a different approach and said, rather than be gaming centric, let's give these guests an exceptional memory of a lifetime. Let's get them something that they can escape and do on their leisure time. Come to the casino. We created this 22-foot gingerbread. It's really compelling to see. It's just gigantic in all aspects, and it's a must-see attraction. So it's given them something to do, because we realize that out there in the market, they're very limited in movie theaters, malls, all the things, restaurants. So they're looking for something to escape and get their minds off it. So we do have strong social distancing standards. We're complying with CDC guidelines, but all that stuff, they've been very compliant, but they just want to see some different experiences. And we've made Winter Wonderland over here, instead of being focused so much on gaming, on a place that they can actually come here, enjoy themselves with their family. And of course, we've seen our business volume spike upward. So we're very happy with the results. We're more happy that they're enjoying themselves. And I think the evolving normal for us is we're just going to keep adapting and doing something different each and every month to be so compelling that they need to come by, see it each and every time. So I think that's where a big focus is at in the consumer until the vaccine comes out and things start normalizing themselves out there in the environment. I think it's going to be something very, very compelling for everybody to do and see.
Wow. That's kind of what you have to do, I guess, you know what I mean, is to really, present your business in a way that people do feel safe and it's part of this tradition, and but in this time of turbulence, right before we started, Sheila and I were talking. I was like, this reminds me of an Irwin Allen movie. You know what I mean? The producer of The Towering Inferno and The Poseidon Adventure, and as Sheila said, my favorite worst movie ever made, Airplane. You know what I mean? Where all of a sudden, you're in the third reel, and the vaccine is almost there, and the business is and OJ's running through the airport, and Shelley Winters is swimming through the boat, and so that's the type of situation I feel that we're in right now. Especially when NORAD had announced that instead of tracking Santa this year, they're going to be tracking the vaccine shipments. So I'm a little concerned about that, but I guess that's our new normal, right?
It is, and I think you'll see a lot more of it. What I've been noticing around town here lately, and I do drive the area quite a bit, at least every week. I do about 150 miles, just seeing what general things are going on in the environment. But people are out and about. They're driving around. They're hiking. They're bicycling. I've never seen more runners, bicyclers, people outdoor doing things. So people have adapted very, very well. They're adapting to an evolving normal that they see each and every day, and I'm glad that the casinos in Southern California could be a big part of that.
Right, I agree. So Michael, so how do you market during the pandemic, my friend? I mean, what do you tell your clients in during this environment?
Well, as Sheila clearly pointed out, there are, and that what John just mentioned, there are different types of customers that we have coming in and different types of players, and we have to do different segmentation and marketing. But the inescapable fact is that the Pareto principle, 80% of your revenue is still coming from 20% of your customers. If you can effectively market to that 20% and let John build his gingerbread houses.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to get to that gingerbread house.
So that's the way to do it. Spend money with those people who spend money with you. And now that criteria that has been used by a lot of managers of clean, I want a clean place, I want a safe place, I want a fun place, and I want a familiar place. I think we're providing that to the people who spend money with us, and that's where our profits are coming. And now we have to go and continue to maintain relationships with those folks. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the messaging has just been really. If you look at the signage on the freeways where I live, there's a casino corridor between San Bernardino and San Diego, and you see a lot of them are very empathetic to the situation. You don't see signs with people hanging out anymore around the slot machine or the tables and stuff like that. So they seem to be really sensitive to the times and to the customers and stuff like that.
Cleanliness and safety have taken on new definitions, and that's just the reality of life. The people who are going to these casinos want to feel a secure environment. We provide that. It's a difficult task if you're a player and you have to go into the casino. There's more plexiglass there than I can possibly imagine, and customers are still willing to come and play even though they're restricted by that movement.
That was so funny because in the very beginning, Jason and I had talked about that. It's like that whole plexiglass thing. I didn't think people were gonna take to it like they have, but it's really quite amazing to see a table full of people and then tables full of people just going out. I think that has a lot to do with escapism more than even gambling to the sense, and it's just I think that really is the word of the day, is escapism. Sheila, so in one of the things that we have been talking about is smoking and non-smoking. How's that message going across in Oklahoma?
Really well. A lot of our facilities went non-smoking because of their mask mandates. Smoking is now done either outside in a, you know, in an area outside or in a designated area. And people have taken to it. And I think, you know, maybe this is the one thing that spurred, you know, people have been talking about us going non-smoking for years. You know, the American Cancer Association is, you know, pushed the buttons for years and years on us doing this because it's one of the few places that you still can do that. So I think this is actually just a little jump start that forced us to go to that direction, because we always said the customers are going to decide. Well, the customers decided. You know, Michael was right. People need to feel safe. And if you got someone smoking with their mask off next to you on a slot machine, that's not making you feel really safe. So, you know, some things that we have done during COVID, I think you're going to stick around for a while. You know, this might be our new normal, where vast majority of our floors were smoking to now where they're not. So this could have been our push to get to that place.
Yeah, and I know just from my point of view that I just from my experience, I should say, it's just been really nice to go into the casino and not have that smell and stuff like that. And you know, you still see the same people outside smoking a cigarette, seem to be fine, get a little fresh air, and you know, it's a win-win for everyone, isn't it? You know, John, yeah.
Smoking here in California with the card rooms, we've had a 5-year, 7-year lead time, and the card rooms are non-smoking. People take a break, go out and have their cigarette, come back, and revenues are solid, very solid in the card rooms. So
Yeah.
there's a precedent there that an unintended consequence or unintended benefit is non-smoking may be here to stay.
You know, one of the interesting things is you know, in the next couple of weeks we have Christmas and we have New Year's, which are two of our biggest attractions during the year. You know, how do you guys see this happening this year with all the health restrictions in place and stuff like that? John, how are you guys dealing with this?
You know, we addressed that issue on entertainment because that's typical of a New Year's Eve. So we said, let's not do it. So what we did is back to the old radio and TV situation where families grouped together. We took our steakhouse and we said, look, we're just going to have sessions, 5 o'clock, 7, 9, 11 o'clock sessions. We only fit in 60, 70 people a session. So we book them in 2-hour increments, and it's first come, first served basis. So, and we're doing it with all our outlets. So we're giving the experience. Granted, there's no dancing, there's no singing. We'll pipe it on throughout the casino, but we still want them to feel very safe, energetic, glad to be there, and they have an alternate to doing something versus sitting something at home. So I think, you know, in a perfect world, I'd love to say, let's test them all on the spot and then have a concert. But realistically, I don't see that really working very well.
Yeah, well, you know, as you know, John, and the guitars in the back behind me, I don't know if they attest to anything other than the fact that, you know, I had a gigging band for the last 20 years, and we haven't had a gig. I haven't played since February, and there's no sign of us playing anytime soon. It's just, you know, for the safety of the customer, for the safety of everyone. At this point, let's not have entertainment, and you know, it's been a real crusher. You know what I mean? I think that all the musicians that I know are hurting, and from, you know, the little barroom heroes to my professional musician friends, you know, to my touring musicians and stuff, and nobody's touring right now. So, you know, I thought it's been really interesting. Now, you know, one of the main points here is that revenue is up though during the middle of all this, and hearing it from you guys and hear it from other ones, and you know, is that what we're going to see again during this holiday season? Is like, you know, this is going to be an opportunity to generate revenue without, you know, really putting a lot out there. You know what I mean? It's almost like the demand is just insatiable because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, I think, you know, Victor, one of the things that it could do, with all respect to the consumer out there, it's kind of taken away, and I think Mike Meczka can chime in on this a little bit, is that it's taken away that traditional entitlement, right? It's given us, they're used to, they're expecting something very different. They're expecting many curveballs thrown at them. And they just want a good time during this period of time. And the old standard staple, you got to give the house away to get them in here during these holidays is long out the door. And even us, I mean, we're even issuing customers their own personalized face masks. I mean, it's their own color. I mean, we've got this fabricated for us, this one over here. It kind of just goes around the neck like this. So when you don't want it, you just put it up and it goes around your ears. They have their own color. We issue to them with their player points. So it's actually
That's the
pretty
first
cool.
time I've
So,
seen that. That's the first time I've seen that, you know?
yeah, look, it just, it's really cool. It goes around your neck because everybody wants to take them off when they sip a cup of coffee. It goes in like that, and that's it. And we have 3 colors, and it all matches our uniform. The customers right now get blue. We'll come up with some other colors, but they really appreciate. Oh, it also has the carbon fiber filter in there as well that you can see in here that we can interchange. So we're staying very safe. But I want to tell you this: that I believe there is a role for entertainment, and one of the things we're going to explore in the future is we have a large cabaret lounge, and what we're going to do is contain a band in there, but we're going to pipe it throughout the casino, and we're also going to enable customers to give feedback to the band. Let me play this favorite song from the 80s, the 70s, or the 90s, and take it to that level and see how that actually works out. I think it's going to be a secret alternate for many people having fun, kind of like bringing karaoke in a very different way.
Yeah, well, you know, there's something really magical still that about, you know, music coming from a space and watching musicians perform, especially when they're talented and really good. And you know, that's always been that's a human need almost. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you know, as a musician, it'll be. I am concerned, but I'm still hopeful that a lot of my friends will get back to work, and that all of us will eventually have live entertainment again. But we definitely don't see anything happening until the summer. You know what I mean? If that, I think people are hoping at least to get out on the road by then. But you know, we'll see how this vaccine goes too. Now, you know, that brings an interesting question, and I apologize unless anybody wants to jump in. But you know, Mike, actually Sheila, so you know, the vaccine. Are you optimistic? What are your members saying about that? Are we just still too pessimistic? We've been in this thing too long that maybe, you know, we're just still wait and see, you know what I mean?
Oh no, I mean, everybody's very excited about this vaccine. I mean, you know, get in line and wait your turn to get it. But, you know, it's sort of like the anticipation. It's like the movie, you know, you're almost getting saved, but you have to wait those last few minutes of the movie
Erwin
to
Allen.
get saved. So
That's
sort of where everybody is at right now. You know, that all this time we've been locked up, we've been in, you know, in our little COVID pods of family and friends, and you can see it coming down the pike, and it's just not here fast enough. So, you know, we just got to hold on. But we're working and working towards, you know, June, July, August timeframe of being able to see each other and be around people again and get back to semblance of normalcy.
Sheila, have the Oklahoma tribal casinos had any discussions yet on whether it will be mandatory for tribal workers to receive the vaccine in order to come to work?
No, they haven't discussed that yet.
Okay.
They have not discussed that yet, but I'm sure as we get closer to that point, what is it? The Pfizer vaccine should be approved sometime this week. So the vast majority of us won't be until the 3rd or 4th wave of the vaccines. Mm-hmm. So as those get going, you know, that's when we start having those conversations.
Right. I think that's, you know, Indian country hasn't, at least to my knowledge, hasn't broached that subject yet. We tried to bring it up with the NIGC, and, you know, that they're right. It's a matter of personnel and HR and things of that nature. So they typically don't get involved, but, you know, certainly it's got to be raised because your workers are the most essential. And just look at the way everybody reacted to not wearing a mask. You got to envision a certain segment of the population is not going to get this vaccine. And if not if not everybody gets the vaccine, the disease will just float around and be there. So your workers would be susceptible to customers like that. So we're trying to, NIGA, that's our next big one, is to have tribes start thinking about it. I know for a lot of tribes like that have had severe shutdowns, I don't think it'll be a question there because of the threats to them. You know the ones, the isolated ones that don't have a lot of hospital capacity, but the ones in more urban areas like the Oklahoma tribes are definitely going to have to think about this.
Yeah, well, there are so many of our casinos in very rural areas of Oklahoma. There's actually very few that are around the Tulsa and Oklahoma area. So if one thing that tribal leaders have stressed through this whole thing is safety, the health and safety of our employees, our community, our tribal members, that's their number one concern. So I see them doing, they closed before any of the mandates came down to say that we had to close. They closed way before that. And that's their area of concern. And so they will do whatever it takes to get that to that point, to make sure that everybody's safe.
Wow. Jason, that really does seem like that's going to be the next phase of this is the way this is rolled out and the way that it's passed out to society. You know what I mean? Mike, are we going to see vaccine marketing? Are we going to see something like that? Or like, John, are you guys going to give away vaccines as for like high rollers and stuff like that?
I don't even
I tell you, go ahead, Mike.
John, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Michael.
It's not going to be for high rollers. It's going to be for everyone, those that are most at risk, older folks like myself, and coming down to the younger people. There still is an issue of distribution and cost. Is there going to be any cost associated with this? And you talk to people and some say yes, some say no, some say priority. There was an article into the New York Times talking about the repurposing of existing drugs that are out there to supplement what the new vaccine will be. So there's a lot of activity taking place, and not many people have a clear path on how the distribution is going to take place. I, for one, think it would be horrible to charge for this thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it kind of goes into how the tribes and the reservation, the casinos have become these really centers of the community, and almost it would feel like it'd be a natural for the tribes to be helping out with the distribution and stuff like that, especially in a lot of these rural places and stuff like that. And I mean, and not from a facetious point of view, but from a real health standard, and really trying to help people and help the communities.
Oh, well, here in Oklahoma, the tribes have the biggest and most modern clinics in those rural areas. So definitely they are going to make sure that their areas are taken care of in the distribution chain line, and not just for their tribes. They've done this forever. They're going to take, I'm sure, charge of making sure that those communities outside of their just regular tribal communities are taken care of as well. Right.
And John, I apologize. We cut you off.
No, I would say, other than, we've taken a very aggressive approach over here. We utilized the rapid testing in Temecula, which if a team member feels they have symptoms or anything else, we send them right away. Of course, there's no cost to them. They get the results usually, and they say it's within the hour, but in some cases, I get tested every week. I get it 5 minutes later. But I think the most important thing, though, from an operator point of view, without violating HIPAA law requirements, a lot of our team members, or the ones that actually have in their families, they've gotten COVID, if they want me to know about it and I find out about it, I personally follow up with a call every single day with that I care-ness. I care about you. Tell me about your experience and tell me what I can do to help out if I can. Can I deliver food? Can I deliver cookies? What can I do? I think at the end of the day, people want to know that their employer cares about them, and they will get a phone call from me. I do it every day. I start my morning off at 4 o'clock in the morning. I tell them, I'm sorry, I'm just up. If you get a call, it's me, and I'm calling because I care about you and I want to hear about your experiences and what I can do to make your day better.
Wow. Well, John, as you know, I mean, this is, for the tribes, this has been, catastrophic in many, many ways. And so I think as the vaccine starts working through the system, yesterday we saw that the first people were being inoculated in the UK and stuff like that. And it seems like unreal after all we've been through the last 10 months that, we're finally going to get some resolution. At least we have some optimism for the future here. So, it's a pretty big deal. I have a question for everyone, and you can all jump in. So, with 2021, right? It can't be any worse than 2020. Obviously, I shouldn't jinx us and say that, but
Take it back.
I do. I'm going to say that. So, what are you guys looking forward for in 2021 besides the virus being gone? Sheila, we'll start with you.
Oh, good. Actually, I'm looking forward to seeing people again. I'm looking forward to seeing people not in this environment. You know me, I'm a hugger. I want to go to a conference again. I want to go see my gaming family that I haven't been able to see in a long time. I want to, be able to see people and shake hands again. So I'm looking forward to that. I know it's not coming until summertime next year, but I am definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's been really brutal here too. Michael, what are you looking for 2021, man?
I am hoping that the operators like my good friend John James will continue to stay the course that we're on and emphasize the clean, safe, fun-friendly issue and not get taken aback by all the entertainment, all the raffles, all the things. Let's figure out what our customers want and deliver that to our customers for a positive experience, and they'll continue to come back to us. I just hope we don't go to this deal of a car a day in May and start giving things that are not necessary.
So basically it's back to the fundamentals again, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it is to the fundamentals. Give the people a good gamble. John's always been the advocate of the most liberal slot on the floor. And yeah, people want time on device. They wanted it before the pandemic, they want it during the pandemic, and they're going to want it after the pandemic. If we can do that, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, this just seems like there's so much of this that we're going to be carrying through for a very long time. You know what I mean? I do worry about the buffets, and I do worry about the entertainment and stuff like that. John, how are you seeing that for 2021?
I know that there's a surge in people wanting to generate food halls and all these other types of concepts. I think the way I'm going to approach it, and we're going to approach it, is build a day, build a week, build a month, build a quarter. We're just going to keep our nose straight on the ball, spend less time focusing on the political environment. The hope and expectation is that the vaccine will take care of itself. And as far as the Native American country, hopefully that Indian healthcare goes in there, takes care of the elders, stays focused on their own particular plans, which is managing all aspects, every piece of their business. But like Mike mentioned earlier, I'm just going to keep focusing on providing what each and every day as that evolving normal changes. We're just going to keep adapting like acrobats and just keep trying to provide that experience for the customer, right?
Wow.
Hey, we're all in I don't want to be a spectator in the circus. I want to be in the arena fighting it out. So there you go.
John, I'm with you. If one thing I hope is that sticks around for forever is this adaptability that we've taken on. Everybody is flexible and moving and changing with every single day that they have to do it. And that's one thing we were never good at. And I hope that part stays.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what we've seen, I was very surprised, but in our environment over here, I mean, people are wearing many, many, many hats, and no one's complaining about it. And they're very eager to be part of the big solution. And I think as we keep moving through this thing, whether it's May, June, July, August, and I don't think the virus will ever go away 100%, but I think it's taught the country to be, very acrobatic and nimble in their approaches, and just keep trying for bigger, better, faster, stronger, smarter things down the road.
Hey, Jason. So, I read yesterday, there was an article in the New York Times that said like 65% of the firefighters in New York said they were not going to take the vaccine, and this seems to be, you're starting to see a little blowback and to see the reality where people, there's suspicions, and, in this time, in this political season when so many bad feelings and mistrust is dredged up, it just seems like there's more of this feeding into that too, man. Did you see that article?
No, and that's an astounding figure, because you just wouldn't expect that from the first responders. I know in our neighborhood and around DC, I've seen first responders responding to stuff, and they're all PPE'd up, even the police. So I'm shocked, the bottom line is first responders, military, they won't have a choice, and they're under different regulations and different employment agreements. They're going to be mandatory vaccinated. The key, though, and where Indian country could get some help too, is if the big retailers, Walmart, Target, all those big retailers, if they came out and said, you're just simply not going to work at one of our stores if you don't get the vaccine, and they're within their rights to do that. And I think that's the way it's got to be done once we get around to the general public, because as Michael was saying, there is a scenario where this thing just doesn't go away, where not enough people get the vaccine, and you just keep it abound and alive. And and maybe it's like the regular flu. Maybe every year we're going to have to get a new COVID-19 vaccine. That's another
COVID-20, COVID-21, the mutations are, this whole thing with the minks in Sweden and up in Oregon and stuff like this too, So
I really think there's even the commercial gaming industry, they were so keen at the beginning, when Wynn rolled out that huge notebook they had in collaboration with Johns Hopkins, and how they're going to disinfect everything and make everything nice and disinfected. Well, the same thing's going to happen with this vaccine, because those people who have jobs that require them to be around people for 8 hours a day, hundreds and different types of people, they clearly need the vaccine. And I don't know why they would want to risk catching it from somebody who just refuses to get a vaccine and is a patron at where they work. So these are the problems that are going to be confronting. And certainly we know Indian country, if anyone is justified in being skeptical of vaccines, it's Indian country. Sheila knows what happened in Arizona, where they were taking people, I forget which tribe's DNA, the tribe there in
Wallapai.
We know what happened to Tuskegee Airmen and all these horrible things with the vaccine. So there's a long bad history of vaccines and minority people, but we're hopefully past all that, and we just need some leadership in the free market world to make this a reality, so that the fringe folks don't upend all the progress we hope to be seeing by this summer. And I don't know. You look at something like, I'm with you, Victor. I don't know if Michael or John has any better analysis on that. And we've had a whole Zoom conference on entertainment, and I just don't know when we're going to be in a real position to get 20,000 people at a stadium for a concert, or even 1,500 people to go watch the local theater. I don't know when that's going to be safe to do again. And I really worry about some of our tribes that invested immensely in these venues.
Jason, the sign is when the Broadway Theater District gets into sports betting. That's when you start to be concerned.
Right.
That's when you start to get concerned, is that, they're going to use sports betting to save the theater district in New York, and we're not far from it. I'm joking, but you guys know I'm not far from it,
Well, Victor, look what's happening. Warner Brothers buckled. They have all these movies that they're just like, all right, screw it. We're going to put it on the live streaming. I'm shocked an artist, like if a really popular band said, we're going to live stream a concert on for Friday night and it's going to cost you $50, $100, just like these boxing matches. I mean, that ridiculous fake boxing match with Mike Tyson, made over $80 million.
Oh my God. Did it really?
Yeah, it was, it lasted less than 10. I mean, it's just a joke. It lasted less than 10 minutes. So I think it was Michael I think people are desperate to get entertainment. I feel like, with them streaming those movies coming up in 2021 on Disney Plus, you really open the box. People are going to really see, at least people like me, I hated going to the theater, but they're going to see how much can we really charge people to sit at home on a Friday night. And, I think the sky's the limit. I don't know if I really wanted to see a movie in my house. I don't know what I'm willing to pay for it, but I know at a theater, if I take my whole family, 5 people, that's well over $100. So,
there's the old joke by Norm Macdonald. He says, they say that gambling is a disease, but it's a disease where I can make money, so I think with movie theaters, people, it really talks to a more foundational shift here, which is the pandemic, because just like we're talking over Zoom, you know what I mean? The movie industry, the concert industry, everything is going to change. Everything to going forward nothing is going to be the same. There'll be some familiarity, obviously, but this is the change. You know what I mean? That's why you're seeing the sports leagues, the media companies going into sports betting, because this is their big savior. You know what I mean? That's what they're all looking for. Again, if the theaters start getting into sports betting to save them, that's the solution for everyone. Let's all get into sports betting. It's going to save the world. That's the thing. Am I wrong, John?
No, I think, all aspects, every piece of business matters. So whatever entertains our guests, we're certainly in the business of entertainment. So hopefully it's productive, it's professional, and we keep things at an even playing field.
So are you going to have like people dancing like the junior high school dance where they're arm distance around and chaperones and stuff like that? We're like, is that what we're going to see on the dance floors?
Remember those junior high schools wore gloves too. All the girls did.
Aye. Wow. Those were the days, weren't they, Mike? Those were the days. Well, guys, it's what we're really talking, and like I said, it's just like everything around us is changing, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to adapt to these changes. And I think, and listen, I'm joking about sports betting being the answer for everything, but then again, I'm not. You know what I mean? Is if you look at where the industry is, you look at the media companies, you look at the sports companies. I mean, look at the mess this football season was. You know what I mean? And that was a very laissez-faire attempt at doing a bubble, and it just didn't work very well, did it? But on the other side of this, you look at what's happening over in Mohegan Sun. They're doing the basketball over there, and they've done a heck of a job. And considering what they've had to go through, and they've had some hiccups and stuff like that, but the tribe has provided an environment for people to try to work this basketball league out and bring back some normality, So it's just crazy. And I think it's very important that we keep an eye on the future and don't forget, like we said, the fundamentals, the basics are very important, but the shift and the change for this entire industry, you just can't ignore it. And we will be addressing these issues going forward too. So, what do you think, Jace? Where are we at, man?
Well, I wonder, somebody asked, and John, Michael, Sheila, are buffets even needed anymore? Which I thought was a good question, because we know those are, high overhead, low profit margin type ventures, but they do keep people in the casino. Otherwise, you got them leaving for lunch and they may not come back. What do you think of the future of buffets and that kind of open eating environment at the casino?
Jason, I got to tell you this may change your mind a little bit, but if you ever get a chance to go to the Reading Terminal Market or Boston's Faneuil Hall, you'll see it's not even a buffet. I mean, it's the old fashioned. There's like in Reading Terminal Market, there's 80 vendors inside this old railroad station box, and there's food from all cultures, and people just order it, grab and go. I mean, it's safe. I mean, obviously, I mean, buffets are, people are walking around, sneeze guards aren't good enough. And I think that's going to be something that's going to move itself out, and people are going to have to repurpose those spaces, or they're going to be left in the cold. It's just not going to work.
I used to live in Philadelphia, John, so I'm very, very familiar with Reading. I used to go to lunch there every single day. I love that place.
Yeah. It's a great experience, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a wonderful experience, and fresh food made there in front of you, these stations and stuff like that, and each experience. And I definitely see that as a wonderful experience, and definitely something I can see happening in the casinos. Well,
they have one of those in Plano that's amazing.
Yeah.
Say that
Go ahead,
again,
Michael.
No, I was going to say what is amazing about Reading and West Side Market in Cleveland and these other places is they operate at a profit. We can't do food at a profit, but they can. How can that be?
Yeah, well, isn't that the old thinking of casinos? Remember, that the $5 steak will bring everyone in, and 50-cent cocktails and stuff, and now it's all changed. Those old. By the way, Michael, when I first went to Vegas, I was just a kid. I was 16 years old, so this was the late 70s, and and it was gleaming lights, and everything was discount. And Shecky Green was at the Caesars, and Lola Falana, and so I remember those days. I saw Lola Falana. And I saw the Amazing Kreskin in Las Vegas. So I did.
So, there's one thing we have to talk about, though, in terms of the buffets. The vast majority of our casinos are in very rural areas, and they have a hard time getting really good chefs into their facilities. And sometimes that buffet style is the only thing that's an option for them. Or whether or not they change it to a diner format or something where they don't have to have the high-end chef in. But those are the considerations that those operations are going to have to discuss and figure out what they can offer that they have the manpower for.
Most people, when we talk to them in focus groups, talk about if they're avid, enthusiastic gamblers, they talk about food as fuel, F-U-E-L, to continue their gambling experience. They're not too concerned about the high-end steakhouse. Now, obviously, the big guys are, but I think just bulk food is going to keep people very, very happy.
Hey, Michael, I have a little question that's a little off, but how do you think the Vegas situation is helping Southern California for gaming?
It's not helping them at all, I don't think. I think they're getting killed about the head and shoulders. And I had an opportunity to stay at Mandalay Bay, and the quality of customer that was walking through with their 12 packs and 24 packs and bringing their own food, I don't think it's helping much at all. Particularly, you've got places like Soboba and Pachanga where people are rediscovering, why would I even think about driving there? And taking a plane is just not a fun experience anymore.
Yeah, well, that marketing, especially through the desert, as someone who likes to drive the desert and always drove from Temecula to Las Vegas a couple times a year, that whole marketing campaign has always been, why drive to Vegas, turn around, you can go to Soboba, San Manuel, Pachanga, and, it just seems it would resonate even more now. Everything I read, we had Jeff Wang here 6 weeks ago, and Jeff is one of those people that's really has his eye on the Las Vegas thing, and it's just so grim and just not good at all. The Encore is closed during the week. Everyone else is closing. But listen, it's the same way with tribal casinos, though. You know what I mean? There's in Arizona, there's a bunch closed. In Michigan, there's a bunch closed. So, but the effect on Southern California and Las Vegas, I think that's an issue I definitely would like to jump down that rabbit hole one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So John, go ahead, Michael. I apologize.
It's very competitive, and with these card rooms coming on for a certain segment of table game players, they're doing all right. Not poker, just table game players. They're doing fine, and they're taking business.
How are you seeing it, John?
Well, I think that when you look at the terminology preponderant play, preponderant play is a customer that typically adopts their home. For example, like they live close to Pechanga, and that's where they most likely tendency to make their play, or Soboba or San Manuel, wherever the case may be. But what this preponderant play has affected Las Vegas is that why bother going to Las Vegas when the experience is not there? I'd rather go to somewhere local and not go through the brain damage, because, Vegas, you can go down there last year and you can attend a DJ. I mean, 20,000 people just tuned into a DJ. You can't do that today. So, especially for the younger generation, there's not much there to do because the clubbing is gone. The alcoholic social spacing is gone. So they're just finding their own pockets. I'll give you an example, Victor, as well as I do. You want to see a population explosion, is go down to Old Main Street in Temecula on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The volume is 10 times greater than it's ever been. You talk to the liquor store operators, they can't even keep enough product on the shelves anymore because people are finding alternate ways to form their own entertainment experiences, whether it's at home, consuming more alcohol, doing a lot of different things. So our goal in this business, in the hospitality business, is to keep adapting and evolving and giving them different things that they can latch onto for that preponderant play to keep coming in our own backyard. They don't need to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, it really seems that the pandemic is changing people's behavioral habits, probably for their lifetime even, you know what I mean? I mean, and I do worry about Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. I have a lot of friends there. I've learned so much from the place. I have a real soft spot in my heart for the place, and I really worry about it. I really worry about the industry over there. So, let's hope this vaccine that it works, and let's hope that people take it, and let's hope that we can come back to some form of normal, or what our new normal is going to be. So what, we got about 5 minutes left. Does anybody would like to Sheila, how would you like to tell our viewers about 2021 and how screwed up your 2020 was?
I saw a meme on Facebook that said, "I'm staying up till after midnight, not because I want to ring in the new year, but I want to make sure that 2020 is gone."
Right.
Amen.
Leaves.
Yeah.
I just want everybody, we all just need to stay on top of it. As John and Michael both said, we've got to just keep our eye on the prize and continue adapting as need be, and be safe and stay safe and healthy. That is the biggest thing right now. We're turning the corner, and God willing, everybody will be at my show in the end of July when we're all vaccinated and we can all see each other. Yeah, this is like this. And that's what we've got to go through. And we're almost there, but we've learned lessons, and some of those lessons we're keeping.
Yeah. Michael, so we have 2020 in all your infinite marketing wisdom. What would you like to see in 2021?
I referred to it earlier. I would like to see the casinos giving customers a fair play for their money. Looser slots, which you hear 1,000 times, but I want fair play. And that'll take the primary independent variable in all the things that happen is gambling. People go there to gamble. They're going to continue to go there to gamble. We just have to give them a good gamble, and they'll keep on coming back. And we have to stop ourselves from doing stupid things like giving away 3 cars a day and just dumb drugs.
You're the best, Mike. John, did you hear him? Did you hear him?
I heard him.
Put those
I
cars
didn't
back in the
tell him
garage.
we're giving 4 cars away, but that's all right. Now.
Oh my God, just gave him a heart attack. But Michael, they're not very big cars. They're not very big cars.
They're small. That's good.
They're small cars.
I'm going to give away Mike's first car that he drove in high school.
Wow.
1962 Chevrolet Biscayne.
Wow. Ford
I'll come
Galaxy
for that one
500.
myself.
Ford Galaxy 500, man. So, John, well, before we wrap up, what would you like to tell our viewers for 2021?
You know, I would say this. You know, look, life is about an evolution of everything. Just keep a great attitude. Don't give up. Just keep pushing for the best and explore. And it's kind of an interesting thing, but probably a lot of them got to get reacquainted with their family and friends, which is long overdue. And you know, I love the whole thing on technology. Don't get me wrong, but one thing that texting and email has done is it created an avoidance there for a long time with many of us. And it's good to pick up the phone. It's good to Zoom meeting people. It's good to get reacquainted. And I hope the very, very best for everybody in 2021. God bless them all.
I just saw an article today. They're saying that Botox is up because a lot of people don't like the way they look in Zoom calls. So, so there's another thing. Jason, my friend, how you doing, brother? So listen, before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to tell the viewers? I think next week, by the way, a big deal was Fox had just signed a deal with DraftKings, and I was talking to Chairman Butler, so maybe he's going to come on next week and talk about that deal. So,
Yeah,
So, Jason,
I know you were joking about sports betting, but William Hill and Caesars are trying to join together. That's undergoing antitrust review at the Department of Justice right now. So you've got to be ready for sports betting, and it's going to come your way whether you like it or not. And the funny thing is, California might be one of the last states to have it, to be honest, at the rate you guys are going. And so.
California, cool. Listen, man, we don't move for anybody. We take our time. You know what I mean? Chilling, the waves, the sun.
So, but moving into the new year, we've got to get Congress to get some more COVID relief out to tribal governments, or January 1 is going to be a pretty big mess out there. And hopefully they get this done. That's what NIGA and all the tribal orgs are focusing on right now. I don't have a lot of good news on it. But I know folks are desperate at the tribal government level, and we've got to get some more money out the door. So hopefully we can get that resolved.
Jason, you're absolutely true, and it's not only tribal governments. I think it's everyone in the United States. I think at some degree we're all. Yeah. So listen, I'd like to thank my guests, Sheila, John, Michael. Thank you very, very much, and Jason, my brother, again, thank you. And for everyone, thanks. Happy holidays. We'll be here next week. We're going to be talking to Chairman Rodney Butler from the Mashantucket Pequots about their new deal with DraftKings. So see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.